So the next thing we're having a look at is some transformations. And we're going to look at how to use CAS to do this. So we're going to have a look at this thing here, x squared plus 10x plus, we'll actually look at this one, x squared plus 5x plus 6, and we're going to translate that up by 3 units. And we'll have a look at this one here, negative 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. And we're going to translate that up by 2 units and left by 1. So what we're doing here, if we're translating, let's say I've got paint, file, new, I don't think I'll need this, I think I've already given it to you. If we're translating something, now let's draw a next set of axes. Here's a y, and here is x. So if we're translating a parabola, we'll go, here's a parabola. If we're moving that up, and we're moving it to the right, that means we're taking the turning point, and that's what we're moving. Essentially, we're moving on, but it's easiest if we are moving the turning point. So if we move that up, so the turning point's got to go up, and it's got to go to the right, well, then turning point's got to go to the right, and then we have our new graph, which is somewhere here, whatever the case may be. I don't know. But that's essentially what we're doing. So basically, what we've got to do is we've got to take our function and write it in turning point form. That's the safest way to do it. There's other ways we can do it, and I don't know what your tutors tell you to do and whatnot, but that's the safest way we can do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at that first function. And we're going to have this thing, so x squared plus 5x plus 6. So x squared, so we're going to define that. F of x equals x squared plus 5x plus 6. And we're going to complete the square. F of x, comma x. And that's what it has here. So our turning point is at negative 5 over 2 and negative a quarter. So if we're shifting it up by 3, what we're doing is we're adding 3 to this thing. So we're going to say, I'm going to open the bracket, I'm going to go up, I'm going to press enter, and then I'm going to close the bracket. And I'm going to say plus 3. So that's what we've got there. That's what we've essentially done there. So we've taken this function and we've translated it up by 3. So we've just added 3 to that function, and this is what we end up with here. If we want, we can check that. So what we'll do is we'll graph that. And we'll say we're going to graph f of x. And there we go. So let's check our turning point. Menu, analyze graph, minimum. It's a minimum there. So it happens at negative a quarter and negative 0.25. So then from there, I'm going to say we're going to make a new one, f of x, and I'm translating it up by 3. So I'm going to say plus 3. We end up with that. So let's check the turning point for this. Menu, analyze graph, minimum, because I say it's a minimum. We're checking this graph, and there we have it. So we've gone up by 3 units. So we've gone from negative 0.25 to 2.75. So that's gone up by 3 units. We haven't moved the turning point in the x-axis in the x direction at all. So we haven't changed this value. It's still negative 2.5, but this is what's changed because it's gone up by 3 units. And that's the way we go about that. Let's have a look at another one. So let's have a look at this one. We'll do this one, negative 2x squared. So we're going to define g of x equals negative 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. And that's what we've got there. So once again, we're going to complete the square. G of x for x. And that's what we've got there. So now, if we're looking at this, so we're going to move this up by 2 units and left by 1. So for this one, what we're going to do, we're going to move it left by 2, up by 1. So left by 2. So that means in our normal form, in our turning point form, sorry, which is x minus h all squared plus k. And I'm going to define this. May as well define it. Define tp of x equals that. So in that form, now, if we are moving it if we're moving it up by 2, that means we've got to have this thing. We're going to take this, we're going to say tp of x plus 2. That's what we end up with. No, that's messy. We don't want that at all. Okay, so if we're So what's happening here is if we're moving it up by 2, well then this k value has to be increased by 2. So what have we got there? So in this case, we've got this negative 161 over 8. That's got to be increased by 2. So we're going to take this, and we're going to say plus 2. So that's what we've got there. So now it's gone up by 2. The other thing that we've got to do is we have got to translate left by 1. So if we're moving it to the left by 1, where's that paintbrush or paint? If we're moving it to the left by 1, so we're going that way, 1 unit, that means that if we've got x plus 5 all squared, for example, we've got a turning point at, so we'll draw our axes very badly here. If we got, it'll look like this. Here we are at 0 and negative 5. So if we're moving it to the right by 1, sorry, where is it? 2 units, up by 2 units and left by 1. That means we've got to move it out to here, left by 1. So that'll be x plus 6, because we increase this value by 1. So what we do with that in CAS, we go out to a turning point form, and we say we are moving this to the right by 1. So that's what we say there. So I'm going to press enter for this, and that's what we end up with there. So now we combine those two things, and we'll say, so that's the way we get through that. Now, no, we're going to combine them both. So open a bracket, put that in there. Now we're going to add 2, because we're shifting it up by 2, and over here near x, we're going to say plus 1, because moving to the left by 1 unit. So this is translated up by 2, left by 1. We're going to press enter, and we end up with our new function. So from there, what we do to check it, let's graph it. G of x. There we have it. Now we're moving it up by 1, so let's check our turning point. It's a maximum in this case. 2.75 and 20.1. So we'll do this next one. So we'll do, so I'm going to take this. It doesn't matter which one I do, might as well take this one. Copy, Control C for copy. Hopefully it works. Tab, Control V for paste, and there it is. And now we can see that it's moved. Just move this function label, and we'll say menu, analyze graph, maximum. We're looking at this graph. So we've moved it to the left by 1. So we've gone from 2.75 to 1.75, so we subtracted 1. And we've gone up 2, so it was 20.1 up to 22.1. So let's just go through that again. So let's go with, so let's start it again. So this is that last one. Define f of, I'll call it g of x, that's what we called it before. G of x equals, this thing, negative 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. Negative 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. That's what we've got there. We'll complete a square for g of x for x. And that's what we've got there. So now we're going to open a bracket, go up, close the bracket. We're shifting it up by 2, so outside the brackets we say plus 2. Inside the brackets, near x, we do plus 1 because we're moving it to the right by 1. So if it was to the right by 2, we'd say plus 2. If it was to the left by 5, we'd say minus, sorry, it's going to the left by 1, so we say plus 1. If it was to the left by 2, we'd say plus 2. If it was to the right by 5, we'd say minus 5. So that's what we've got there. We press enter, and that's what we've ended up with. That's our function. That's what it looks like. Then check it, home, graph, let's graph g of x. We know that we've got a turning point somewhere up here. Let's check that. Menu, analyze to maximum. Happens at 2.75 and 20.1. From there, we have a new one. Whoops. Copy this. Paste it. Check out turning point. It's another maximum. So we know it's been shifted to the left by 1, 2.75 has become 1.75, and it's gone up by 2, 20.1, it's gone 22.1. So they're the steps that we take. So define your function, complete square. If we're moving up or down, we add to the whole function. If we're moving left to right, we add or subtract in the brackets. And that's all we have to do.